thank you so much for joining me. This is Anna from Craft Me a Card, and I'm crafting for the crafter, and that is you. Today I am going to share with you guys how I made this cute little stinking card with baby Yoda. He's the one that makes it so cute. My husband really likes Star Wars, anything Star Wars, so we really enjoyed the series of The Mandalorian, where this cute little baby Yoda came to exist. So he's really not Baby Yoda, he's Grogu. I don't know why they named him Grogu, but I think it should have stayed as Baby Yoda because he's so cute. So anyways, come along as I show you how I made it. Okay, so first let me show you where I got this image from. So we were at the grocery store and my daughters say, "Mommy, look, Baby Yoda." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so stinking cute." And it was part of this Betty Crocker fruit snacks. So I saw the little image and I was like, all right, we're getting one of these. I'm making Papi a card with this cute little image. Yeah, so this is just a reminder that we really can create with anything. And I really wanted to post this video ASAP so that if you're interested, you could probably still find this box at your grocery store. So yeah, so I just emptied out the box and I went ahead and I cut the image out. For those hard to reach places, I went ahead and I used my X-Acto knife or my crafter's knife. Next, on a piece of white paper, I decided to just trace the outline of my card. And this is because I'm going to be doing some ink blending on it. I would like to mimic the background that the actual package had for Mr. Little Baby Yoda. So by first starting with my lightest color, and this is going to be Fossilized Amber, I start with at the bottom of the page. And I just go ahead and I use this blending tool. These are great. I have to admit, I was kind of skeptic. I didn't want to invest in them, but I found them at the Dollar Tree. So, hey, I went ahead and I got me some, and they work magnificent for blending. It just helps blend the colors easily. And these Distress Oxide inks are perfect for ink blending. It just makes everything so smooth. So next I go with Spice Marmalade, and I start working my way up to the darkest color, from lightest to darkest. And the way I like to work is I like to work 2 colors at a time. So first I'm working with the yellow, with the lightest yellow, and then I'm going with the orange. So I go back and forth, and wherever I see that there's just too much difference in color, I go back in and I use the lighter color, as I'm doing here. And that is just to smooth and to blend these two a little better, to make the transition smoother. Next, I go ahead and I move on to Abandoned Coral. So now I'm working with Abandoned Coral and Spice Marmalade, just blending them in. And then I go from Abandoned Coral and Spice Marmalade to Abandoned Coral and Fired Brick. After Fired Brick, I go to Aged Mahogany. And just like that, by making little circles, I go ahead and I blend everything in. I gotta tell you, this is a workout. It's a workout for the arms. I think they should do like a Karate Kid, but with ink blending. Right the circle, left the circle. I mean, it could be a workout, especially because I wanted a lot of color. I wanted it intense, so I was kind of pressing hard on the brush. So yeah, it's a good, fun workout. All right, so now that everything's blended in, you could see here the look that I was going for. And I'm quite content to how that came out. All right, so now it's time to cut this blended background to about 1/2 inch smaller than my card base. My card base is 6.5 by 5, so I cut it 6 by 4.5 inches. I see that almost fits perfectly with the size of my baby Yoda. So I decide to just go ahead and trim off that little excess part so that it could be the same height as my cutout image, just like that. Okay, so for the background of a card, I decided to go with this black and white cardstock. It says, "Love, love, love, always, love, love, love." So I just go ahead, take my card base, cut around it, and that gives me a perfectly fitted background piece. Take my liquid glue and go ahead and stick this pattern paper on top of my card base. So I noticed there was a little empty spot there where the image said The Mandalorian. So I decided to go ahead and add the date, February 14th, 2021. And I have had this stamp for the longest time, since 2017 or something like that. It's now on its last year. So I just go ahead and test it out. I think it's by Heidi Swap, I want to say. And yeah, and it fits perfectly in that little window. You could write it in, you could stamp it, individually. You could cut a date out and stick it on, whatever is easiest for you to do. Next, I am ready to add this little image onto my blended background, just with some little foam tape. Little. It is not little. Just because it's Baby Yoda doesn't mean everything has to be little, Anna. So I just go ahead and I stick it onto the blended background. Now this piece is ready to be added to my card base. So just with some liquid glue, I put it all over the back and I go ahead and I center it onto my card base. Just like that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okie dokie, so now it is time for the sentiment. Now I want it to say, Yoda 1, I love. And I decided to pull out these chipboard stickers, alphabet stickers, that I got from Hobby Lobby. And I go ahead and I carefully place them for them to be evenly and in a straight line, and then just with some liquid glue I go ahead and I add it to the back. Yes, they're stickers, but I don't really trust that sticker. It was falling off. I guess it's because of the ink blending, but anyways, some good old glue that will take care of it. Adding it to the back and just getting some help from the crafter's knife, I go ahead and I position it to where I am happy with it. So I know that I want each word a different font or a different style, so I go first and I look for a die that would say love, and I found this one that I felt would work nicely with this card. So that it could mimic a little bit the thickness of the chipboard, I go ahead and I layer 4 times the word love, one on top of each other, and just with glue I stick them on, and that gives it a little bit more of that chipboard thickness that we are looking for. Okay, so for my next word, which is 1, I go ahead and I grab my white Jelly Roll pen and I scribble an O and just cut it out. I don't like my handwriting, so I decided to use different kinds of letters for the word 1. And I found these wooden alphabet stamps that I've had for the longest time. And I go ahead and I grab the E off of here, and I just go ahead and I prepare my surface by adding a little bit of anti-static powder to go ahead and emboss. I ink up the E with VersaFine ink to then dip it in my embossing powder, heat it up, and cut it out. You see there I have an N that is handwritten. Now, like I said before, I don't like my handwriting, so we'll go back to that in a little later. For now, I am going to be playing around with this I, and I decided to go ahead and stamp that directly onto my card base, which is really, really risky, and heat emboss that as well with black embossing powder. So I go ahead and I grab the anti-static powder so that the embossing doesn't stick anywhere else on the card, and I go ahead and I ink up my I with VersaFine ink, and I go ahead and I stamp it. And then I pour some embossing powder on it and pray for the best. And then go ahead and heat set it. And it came out beautifully. Yay! Now for my N, I went ahead and I found another mini alphabet. This was acrylic stamps here. And I found these at Michael's, I believe, years and years ago. So I do the same process. Add the anti-static powder. Dip it in my embossing powder, and this one is white, heat set it, and cut it out. So just to make sure the 1 is placed where I want it, I go ahead and I stick down, or I glue down, the love first. I decide to add some foam adhesive to the back of the letters of the 1 to give it a little bit of dimension, and then I go ahead and I stick these letters down, and I know it's sticky, it's foam adhesive, but I like to add glue anyways just to secure it for the long run. So with this, I complete my little baby Yoda card. It's so cute. I hope my honey bunny likes it as much as I do. And yeah, just a reminder to please subscribe if you haven't already done so. I really appreciate it. And comment and like. And as always, I hope you get inspired. I hope you create and be happy. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. What is that? Why? Oh my goodness. Making it worse.